Hey guys, Coach Saqib here today. So I'm going to address something that one of my clients had a couple years ago, and it's something I've been learning more and more about as I go through PT school. So it'd be a good topic to talk. I'm going to talk about lower cross syndrome. So what lower cross syndrome is, pretty much your hip flexors, they're tight, okay? Your extensors in your back, they're tight. Your glutes and your abs, they're weak. So what happens is with lower cross syndrome, you tend to have a tilt and you're pinching and you start to walk around like a duck, just like this. And we can start quacking, right? But over time, we'll start getting lower back pain. We'll start having too much tension here. And then we try crazy ideas and crazy ways of seeing what can we do. And the biggest thing I'm gonna teach you now, and I was a big victim of this, is that you don't wanna put strength on dysfunction. So if your dysfunction is that you're tilted like this and you start to work on rehab exercises that strengthen those regions without fixing the tightness here and fixing the tightness here, it's not gonna benefit you because you're still gonna be stuck there. Your foundation is that duck foundation, so we can start walking like this, right? So you wanna avoid that. So first step, I'm gonna show you a few stretches for the anterior capsule as well as the back. From there, I'll show you a few power exercises for your core and your glutes. One of my favorite stretches to do is a tall kneeling hip flexor stretch. Okay, so we're sitting in this position here. You can put a pad underneath this knee in the bottom if it's too much on the floor. What you do in this position, you're gonna squeeze your glute that's on the floor, nice and tight. So you should already feel tension here as well as the front. From there, it's a slight lean forward, and you should start really feeling it here. Where people start to go wrong is they really start leaning and bouncing back and forth. The further out you go, I see the tendencies you get more of the tendon, not necessarily that muscle that I want to try to get. So we're gonna hold it here from there. If this is too easy, just start reaching in different directions. Reach behind you, reach over top, and you should start feeling more of that hip flexion working to the left. One of my favorite exercises to stretch out that lower back is I'll go into what's child's pose. We'll lean into the child's pose, and we'll sit there. Take deep breaths and try to go lower and lower. And from there, I'll tend to walk my fingers out a different direction. And then I can go sideways and sideways this way. The reason why I'll go sideways is your latissimus dorsi is a big back muscle, right? That powerhouse muscle comes into the V that way. When you start and your traps come in top, when you start to move, you'll get more of those traps and lats as well. So you can open up that back really well. Once you start getting those extensors loose and hip flexors loose, then we can go into strengthening exercises. We showed you a video on planks, so I'm not going to address planks. Planks are a very good exercise to strengthen that core. One of my other favorite exercises is strengthen the core muscles and also work on that lower cross syndrome of realigning that spinal column. It's called dead bugs. What you do with the dead bug, okay? We're going to start on the floor, just like this. Here, if you're suffering from the syndrome, you're going to arch your lower back. So the first thing I want you to do is squeeze your butt into the floor and try to squeeze your belly into here. So if you put your hands back here, try to squeeze those hands into the floor. From there, we're going to go 90, chins are tucked, back is flat, and you're just going to drop opposite elbow and opposite leg to the floor as best you can and come back. Nice deep breaths, keeping that core tight and making sure everything stays in line and sync. It's a very complicated movement. It looks easy, but it's hard to do. So if you can't do that off the bat, hold this position and just drop your arm or just drop your leg. If that's still too hard, get a stability ball, put it in between you, and then go one arm at a time so you're holding that tension. If you can't afford a stability ball, you don't want a stability ball, you'll feel weird with it, take your opposite hand, put on that knee. This knee pushes into this hand pushes into the knee, so it's a resistive force there, and we're just gonna work one motion just like this. And I'm shaking already, because this is what's working the most. That's a great one to add to your core exercises aside from planks and so forth. For your glutes, a lot of times the glutes are inhibited, so you wanna make sure you're rolling out the glutes. We'll do a video later on that, but for now, we just want to singly isolate those glute muscles, okay? So I always tend to go to the hip bridge first, work on the progression from there. So we know the basic hip bridge. Heels are down, toes are up, palms here, you can have them here, and just lift up and squeeze. What happens is you want to try to make sure you're using more of this, so dig your hands in, drive nice and high. If that's too easy, bring it here, tuck this forward. So what happens is you're putting yourself in a posterior tilt on this side stays there, and you're gonna get more isolation of this glute here, and you can drive up nice and high, hold it, and come back down. So, moral of the story is, we address the tension first, okay? These are tight, we'll loosen them up. Then go into strengthening here, and then work on more and more. Once you take care of that initial dysfunction you have, we can load up on the strength more, and you won't be suffering from the pain, and also you won't be walking like this, we'll fix that posture, we can walk normal.